Okay, today I want to take you to John chapter 9, verse 1 through verse 3. And it is once more about how to view our afflictions the right way. And I know I've talked about this for a few videos already, but I think it's wonderful that the Lord keeps showing us passages that gives us strength, that give us the courage that we need when we go through our difficult moments, our afflictions in life. So verse 1 says, "And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him." So look at this. We have someone with a disability from birth, and the disciples are trying to figure out the reason why this person is going through this. They're thinking perhaps he's paying for the sins of his parents. But God is telling them here that's not the case. In fact, the reason why he's been blind is because I had a purpose for that disability to be used so that people can see my works in this person and so that they may believe in me. So in this case, that man was healed from his blindness, but not only does this miracle affect him in a positive way, but it also affects the people around him that witness this miracle in a positive way, and therefore they believe in the Lord. And we know that to God, the number one priority is salvation of all his children. And a lot of times, like this man, he will allow afflictions in our lives, not only for our best, but for the best of the people around us, so that his works are made manifest in us. There is not necessarily a reason why we go through things. It's not because we did something wrong or terrible and that we're paying for it. No, it could be that he's allowing that affliction so that other people can see his works and believe. Now, in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7 through 10, we see that Paul is being afflicted here. And then Paul knows why he's being afflicted, but he is trying to remove this affliction from him. It is a terrible affliction, and he's asking God to please remove it. But God decides that no, that is not what's best for Paul. He does not need to understand why he's still going through that affliction. All he needs to do is trust that God knows why he needs to have that affliction, and that God is using that affliction for his best and for the best of others. So in this chapter, in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, Paul is given revelations from above. And this is an abundance of knowledge that comes from God. And then in order for Paul to not become prideful or to feel that he's better than everyone else because he now knows things that not everyone knows, God gives him an affliction to keep him humble so that he's not exalted above measure. So here we have verse 7. It reads, "And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of their revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh," that affliction, that tribulation, "the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord three times, that he might depart from me." So notice that this must have been a very difficult affliction to deal with. And he was begging God at this point, please heal me, remove this from me. Remove this affliction, I don't want it. And knowing that God is his Father. But you know what God answers? He says, "And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." See, God didn't say, "Okay, son, I love you. Let me remove this affliction from you." No. In fact, God said, "I know why you need to have that affliction. All you need to do is trust me. My grace is sufficient for you, and my strength is made perfect in weakness." In this case, we can see that when we go through tribulations, for example, you can see stories of people going through incurable cancers and they're given a limited amount of time left of life by the doctor. And then later on, they go again to the same doctor for another test. And then the doctor goes like, there's no more cancer in your body. And then through that journey, the doctor hears this person talking about Jesus, praising Jesus. And the doctor may not be a believer. But through this journey, he will start asking, how is this person without cancer now? Who is this Jesus? Is this Jesus that God that he's talking about? And is he the one who healed him? And then that may trigger a journey for this doctor to find God. And see, a lot of times our afflictions are to touch the lives of others. And we're so selfish and self-centered that we think it is all connected to us only. No, God is using our very afflictions for his testimony, for the best of others, so that his work is manifest in us as we pull through these afflictions, show the strength of the Lord Jesus, and then we overcome these afflictions while at the same time touching the lives of many. And God will tell us, I love you, and I know you don't want to go through this, but my grace is sufficient for you. I know that this hurts. I know that this is difficult, but I have a purpose for this. And my strength will be made perfect in your tribulation. So the joy becomes clear now. Look at what Paul says. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities. Can you imagine us saying this when we have tribulations? That is a beautiful thing, because we know now the reason why we're going through them. So we will say now, we glory in our afflictions, in our infirmities. We take pleasure in our infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong. So for Christ's sake, for our Father's sake, we take all the afflictions that he will allow in our lives with glory and joy, because we know that he's working through those afflictions, not only to help us, but to help others. And when we see things like that, we know that we no longer have to ask for a reason why. We no longer have to try to figure out why something is happening to someone or to us. All we need to know that whatever's happening is being allowed by God so that his works are manifested in us and so that he can touch the life of many. Thanks for listening. God bless.